good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. First things first, if you're watching this video, go ahead and drop a sub, drop a like, and drop a comment as well. It helps with the algorithm. All right, so today I'm bringing you an update of Nick Walker. And honestly, I want to know you guys' opinion in the comment section below. Can Nick Walker win the Arnold Classic? Now, this back shot from Nick is simply amazing. Nick is borderline being perfect from the back. If he can get his leg insertions a little more prominent at the bottom, then it's for sure game over. He almost reminds me of Phil Heath's song from the back. Nick doesn't have the extreme roundness and bubbliness, but just his actual structure and him having a full back. A lot of guys have high lats and their back stops like halfway, kind of like Hunter Labrada or Ian Vayer, but having those lower lat insertions is very great, man. And that's why a lot of the top guys are the top guys, because of the lower lat insertions. I've noticed it. Now, from the side, Nick looks great, but he's going to have trouble with guys like Ian and Hunter. They have a smaller waist from the side. I feel like Nick is going to be dominant in the back shots for sure. He can beat a lot of guys in the abs and thighs, even with a wider mid-section, just because his abs is so deep. And he could also beat a lot of guys in the front double, because a lot of guys don't have good abs in the front double. Now, even though Nick doesn't have the best structure, just him having great abs is what puts him ahead of a lot of these guys in the front double or abs and thighs. And from the back, Nick is just, incredible. So that's pretty much 4 shots that Nick can beat a lot of guys in. So he just has to worry about the side shots mostly and the most muscular. And Nick can beat a lot of guys in the most muscular, but some guys outsize him some. But look at the delts on this guy, man. Look at the chest. It seems like Nick has made improvements to his chest. It's still a little lacking, but it's definitely better than what he was. And Nick's arms, oh my God. His arms are, oh my God. And look at the delts, man. I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the Arnold Classic stage. Me personally, Nick could definitely win the Arnold, man. I'm ready to get to the Arnold so I can kind of see where a lot of these guys stand. We have some guys being better than the other ones based off last year's Olympia, last year's Arnold, maybe even a competition from 2 years ago. But after this Arnold, we'll get a better representation of where some of these guys stack up against each other. Speaking of the Arnold Classic, we can go ahead and talk about a 2-time champion, William Bonac, who has just started working with Coach Abdullah. And something that's very interesting, Abdullah kind of has split English, so he doesn't speak the best English, which kind of makes his caption hard to understand. But from what I get from this caption, he's saying that William has put on about 20 to 25 pounds very fast, and he's happy about it. And Abdullah says that they plan to be 5 to 6 kilograms heavier than his last competition, which I'm guessing is the Mr. Olympia. So that's about 10 to 15 pounds heavier. So I'm excited to see what William is going to bring to the stage, especially working with Abdullah, who is also the coach of Brandon Curry, an amazing coach. And if William is able to come in heavier, he usually always comes in condition. So a heavier William will be great, because it kind of seems like William will be getting some of that freak factor back. I remember he had an injury a year or two ago. I think he hurt one of his legs, and they kind of downsized. And people have been saying Bonac has been downsized, and they feel like he's on his way out. But this is very interesting, because it's like he's going to come in a little heavier, and I'm excited to see what Bonac is going to do in his lineup. Bonac heavier, I mean, he's still my favorite to win regardless, but with him putting on more size, I'm excited to see maybe like a 2019 Arnold version of him, because that was just freaky. And in our next story, we're going to take a look at Justin Rodriguez. And this is a back update from Justin. I believe Justin is also working with Coach Abdullah, so he has a couple of very high-level athletes. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe that I heard that on an interview that I was watching on Monday Night Muscle. So don't quote me on that, but I'm excited to see what Justin is going to bring to the stage. As you guys know, he's a more aesthetic bodybuilder and a little smaller. But I feel like if he's able to come in shredded enough, he can beat a lot of these guys out. Now, Justin actually stands pretty well from the back, but as you guys can see, his lower half looks a little thinner. With him kind of being a taller guy, he probably just still needs to fill out those legs a little more. But Justin can stand with a lot of these guys from the back. Hopefully he doesn't have the issue he had in New York, where he was unable to open up his lats some. So excited to see what Justin is going to bring to the Arnold Classic and how he's going to stack up against some of these top guys. Like I said, if he comes in hard enough, he may be able to slide ahead of a couple guys that are a lot bigger than him. And in our next story, we're going to take a look at Steve Kuklo. And I believe that Steve is actually going to come in a lot better at the Arnold than he was at Texas. If you guys recall, I said he had been away from the stage from a while. So I believe Texas, he was kind of going to be wiping off some dust. In his second show, he was going to really hit his stride. So interestingly enough, I was just watching an interview with Dennis James and Sergio Olivia Jr., And Sergio said he feel like he almost beat out Kuklo at the last Arnold Classic. And that's something else I was a little off by. If you guys are true watchers of the channel, I had placed Sergio a place above Steve at the last Arnold Classic, but there was actually a mistake. Kuklo placed higher than him. You guys, someone should have corrected me on that, man. Where my real bodybuilding fans at? But anyway, I'm excited to see what Kuklo is gonna bring to the stage. But I feel like Kuklo can win the Arnold Classic, and from seeing updates of Sergio, I feel like Sergio may be able to get the upper hand on Kuklo. Speaking of Sergio Olivia Jr., we get this update from him, and which is kind of just Sergio is he kind of sticks to the old guard. He doesn't like to post too many updates, so it's very unlikely that we're going to see any full body, shirtless, unclothed pictures of Sergio. We're probably going to have to wait to see him on stage. But even though Sergio hasn't been on stage in a minute, I believe Sergio is a guy who is actually going to look a lot better when he hops on stage. I don't believe Sergio is going to have to wipe off any dust. I believe Sergio has a lot to prove. And with Sergio saying that he thought he could beat out Kuklo last year, and I'm believing Sergio will come in and prove, I believe Sergio is a serious threat to win the Arnold Classic. And I'm just going to have to see how William Bonac looks because he's the favorite, of course, but he is getting a little older. And honestly, if William comes in, even with what he brought to the Olympia last year, he'll be able to win. But it's still going to be an exciting competition, man, because you just never know. All these high-level guys in the lineup, almost anyone can win this Arnold Classic. In our next update, we get another small update from Brandon Curry. And I'm pretty sure Brandon is pretty fired up to get that title back, man. But here we just get to see some of this signature roundness of Brandon Curry. And I can see he's still rocking that old man beard. Yeah, guys, Brandon is probably on his way out. That's exactly what he wants you to think. He's getting old, man. He's on the way out. Brandon can definitely come in and win that title this year, man. And I'm excited for him because he has such an amazing physique, such an amazing silhouette. He's so aesthetic, man. He's just a great person on top of this. So I'm excited to see what Brandon is able to bring to the stage, especially in the leg department. I'm hoping that he's able to win this Mr. Olympia this year, in all honesty. So I'm looking forward to see what he's able to bring to the stage. And in our next update, we get another crazy back update from Robert Timms. And if you guys remember, the true watchers of the channel, I stated that Robert was probably the biggest threat to C-Bomb, but I've seen a lot of comparisons and just been looking more in depth into it. And I don't think Robert has the legs to stand with him. Robert's legs are a little smaller, which we all recognized at Texas, but they just were so shredded and flowed with his physique, it was fine. But once he stands next to someone with bigger legs, it'll really look like a weakness. So, as I said in another video I posted after, Brian Jones will probably be the biggest threat. I think Robert Timms will still play very high and do good, but I don't think that he's ready to challenge Chris Bumstead this year. And I know there's been a lot of hype around him, around the recent competition, and as well as these crazy back updates he's posting. But there was also a crazy update from Chris Bumstead, which humbled a lot of people. So, and in our last story of the day, we're just going to take a look at Wesley Voss, who just qualified for the Mr. Olympia by winning the Poland Pro. I don't think Wesley is going to be in the top 6 as the Mr. Olympia, but he's a fan favorite, I know, and has a great physique. A lot of people like him. He has a decent following. And he also qualified. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are unaware of any of the qualifications after Texas because I know we mostly just keep up with open bodybuilding, and there are no opportunities to qualify after Texas. So it's interesting to see that there are still opportunities to qualify in other divisions, and it's great that Wesley will be able to get a chance to get to that Mr. Olympia. But I really hope we would have got like maybe a Logan Franklin or a Steve Larius to qualify, maybe a higher level name. Nothing against Wesley at all, but I just really like those two guys' physique. But that's going to be the video for today, you guys. I hope you liked it. Like, comment, and sub. I know my voice kind of sound like shit for some reason, but I'm out.